What do you do when you've built a successful business, but something inside of you is screaming for more? Maybe your business is one of those businesses that is working, but it's no longer working for you. Well, my guest, Stacey, just sold her thriving marketing agency to step into the unknown and to fully adopt this energy of being in the process of being in the process. Stay with me here. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews. I am the host of Creatives Rule the World, and we have an incredible episode with Stacey Owen. She is a sacred money archetype coach, and we are going to be talking about all things selling your business, exiting, and then reinventing yourself so that you can step into a bigger impact and think and dream and create this big vision way beyond what you ever expected. Now, here's the thing. She wasn't always doing this work. After 12 years of being an entrepreneur and running a successful business, Stacey made a decision to sell her agency and move on to something else. She sold her business to step into the unknown. And what happened next is exactly why I created the Art of Reinvention program. So grab some popcorn, buckle up. We are going to dive right into this incredible episode. Now, before we do, make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel and you click that little notification bell so that you are notified every time we release a new episode. All right, let's dive into this episode with Stacey Owen. I'm so excited to be here today with Stacey Owen. Stacey, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Tracy.
Okay, show everyone your shirt. Silly Rebel. So cute. You're going to have to stand up. So Stacey is a graduate of my Art of Reinvention program, and she is a badass coach. She is a sacred, what is it called? Sacred Money Archetypes.
Yeah, you got it. Sacred Money Archetypes. I love it.
It's like a wealth coach. I'm like, that's not it.
I love hearing people say, like, what is that? Yeah, Sacred Money Archetypes.
And she is an incredible coach. In fact, we got on over 45 minutes ago, and she's been coaching me about something that I've been going through. And she's just a phenomenal human being. And I'm so excited to have her talk a little bit more about her recent business exit and her reinvention that's been going on for a while. So thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. When you said the reinvention that's been going on for a while, it super has been. It has been a while. It's been a journey.
So let's back up. Why don't you give us a little bit of a, background of your journey and how you kind of got to where we are today?
This is so hard when people ask me to do this because I feel like it goes back far, but you almost need to know that information.
Yeah.
So, man, I had like the happiest childhood, like the happiest childhood. But when I became a teenager, I was bullied in high school, and it really affected my my self-image, my confidence. I became quite insecure, and I actually ended up going into an abusive marriage. I was with this person for like 13 and a half years. Yeah, wild, crazy. I never actually went to university, which is something that I was, an excellent student. Like, of course, I was going to go and do that. But I ended up living this entire different life, entire different identity that you wouldn't even recognize today. If you were to see a photo of me from back then, I don't even look like the same person. It's wild. Yeah.
You're going to have to send me a picture.
I will. I'm scared to, but I will. I lived in a garage for 5 years with no running water. I worked for an airline for 12 years, doing a number of different things, which was also, it's interesting. But at one point, while living in this garage on property, my neighbor, she came and asked me if I would photograph her son's wedding. And I was a hobbyist photographer, the whole story, classic. And I said no. I said I wouldn't photograph her son's wedding. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just doing it for fun. But I ended up second shooting that wedding. And that was almost 12 years ago now. And I fell in love. I became really good friends with the main photographer, the main shooter of that wedding. She's a number of years older than me. And she really, took me under her wing, and she mentored me, not just as a baby entrepreneur, but as a human being and a strong woman. Her name's Sherry Nelson, and I will love her. I'm going to cry. I will love her forever. We're still very close. We're shooting a wedding in Denmark actually next week. So that's going to be fun. Yeah. And then after that, I started, second shooting. And then within a year, I was working full time as a wedding photographer within a year. And wild, absolutely wild. I was introduced to, a network of strong female entrepreneurs. I mean, entrepreneurs in general, but really it was the women, the relationships that I made, the support that I received, the affirmations that I was a good person, I had value, really developed a whole new identity. And it's not even a whole new identity, but it was what was already in me that I was just repressing in this relationship that I was in. And it gave me the confidence and the strength to actually leave that relationship. And shortly after that, then I started my marketing agency, which was actually, I had started for photographers because I was successful. I'm doing air quotes if you can't see me. And, I was working full time. I was making really good money, but my friends had no idea what I looked like in person. They only, what I was on social media. So I decided I wanted to outsource my marketing and some of the tasks that I had in my business. And I couldn't find anyone that I thought would understand the creative industry. And back then, all I could find was like really corporate marketing agencies, and it's not gonna work. So I started one. I just decided to do it. I asked my friends if they would love something like that to exist. They said yes. So I literally just one day decided to do it. I hired someone, and we built the website. We made the offerings. We did some beta testing, and we launched it. And by 2019, end of 2019, we had a team of 14 people. So it was like within, what would that be? Like not even a year and a half. Within not even a year and a half, we had a team of 14. I had 86 people on my wait list.
Wow.
We were international. It was wild. It was wild. And then COVID happened.
Oh gosh. No weddings.
No weddings. No weddings. The decision was to either lay off everyone and maybe just wait to see what would happen, maybe run just a really tight team or just even myself. But instead, we decided to launch Conference and Chill. It was like one of the world's first virtual photography conferences. We were the second company to launch, and the first company that launched ended up becoming one of our clients afterwards. Then we were really good friends with them. We did it how many times? Like 5 times. It was incredible worldwide. It was the first day was 3 days. Attendees from everywhere, like world-class photographers speaking. Like Fuji Camera was one of our sponsors. And like, there's no reason that should happen ever, but they said yes.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What did Sue Bryce think?
I wish.
She's coming to speak at the mastermind.
I'm stunned. I don't know what to say. I'm so excited.
I was going to announce it next week, but she's one of our presenters.
I think I'm flushing and I'm sweating because I'm so excited.
She's amazing. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know Sue Bryce, she is a Canon legend. And I had no idea who Sue Bryce was. And I happened to pop into a mastermind myself, and she was another attendee. And there were other photographers there who were just like going crazy over her. So I'm like, I guess I need to know this woman. And she just had so much wisdom. And then she just drops in the conversation that she had an 8-figure exit and all of this
stuff. No big deal.
No big deal. Just an 8-figure exit. And we became friends, and I just interviewed her for this podcast. And so I'm like, you know what? She's such an amazing human. She coached me a little bit during that. I sat with her at lunch one day, and she has this natural desire to just help people. And she just started, well, here's what I think you should do. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. And so I had her on the podcast, and I swear this woman is so tapped in. And I'm so excited for her to speak at the mastermind. I told Paula Owen, who also is a member of Creators Rule the World, Paula's going to be there too. I told Paula that she was speaking because when I was in Canada visiting Paula a couple weeks ago, she's like, what do you want with your business? And she's like, I want to be a legend like Sue Bryce. And I was like, oh my God, she just keeps popping up. Photographers love her. So
we love her.
I love her. I'm not a photographer. She's amazing. When I interviewed her, she just dropped in and started channeling. She's like, I can't remember anything I just said. And I was like, you were channeling, weren't you? And she said, yes. And it just like comes through her. She's such a genius. So I'm very, very excited. It's going to be fun. Anyway, I thought I would drop that to you. Now, if you ever have another one, you'll meet her. And
I'm literally sitting like this right now because I'm damp in the apartment.
Great. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about exiting your business. So you found out about me. We did not know each other at all. You didn't necessarily come from my world. You saw an ad, you clicked on it for the Art of Reinvention. We're going to get back to that later. But in this process, when I was talking to you, you said, well, I'm in the process of selling my business. The everything's going to be signed by the end of the month and I'm really ready for the next step. So I love hearing exit stories because I am fascinated by them, of how people can actually like build something that can be sold. So what was that process like for you? You had this very
Mm-hmm.
successful marketing agency. It had to go through pivots. You pivoted
Mm-hmm.
in an awesome way. Like,
Mm.
where do we start?
Ex- uh, So if you, it was such an interesting thing because when I first started Pepper, the thought was I would build it to a stage where I would just own it and it would run, and then I could go back to shooting.
Yeah. Oh.
That's actually what my initial building, and I built it in a way where it didn't rely just on my skill set, but
Mhm.
I hired people with skill sets that I wish I could hire as a photographer.
Right.
And then after COVID, it evolved like into a full-fledged marketing agency, not just photographers. And it was interesting because I was so invested in Pepper that after the first year, that wasn't even a conscious thought of selling. It was so much a part of my identity. There was no question in my mind that no matter what the challenge was or road bumps or mistakes that we made, there was not a question in my mind that I would push through, that I'd make it happen, and that I would just keep going. It wasn't even an option. It wasn't even a thought,
Hmm.
just did. And then after I had my daughter, she's going to be 4 here in October, then things started to shift a little bit, and I just didn't have the same energy that I had before,
Right.
and the same just like blind commitment and tunnel vision into the company. My eyes started to open more of like, what more do I want in my life? And I'm turning 40 this year too, so what
Mm.
more do I want in my life? What other
Right.
experiences do I want to have? What other types of relationships I have that I've maybe, not been nurturing, the important ones in my life, I've been kind of putting aside because I
Right.
was so fueled by the startup, which was super fun. But at a certain point, it wasn't enough. And then I started thinking, okay, how do I be even just less involved? So I actually read a book, and I can't remember the name, but I'll try and dig it up for you guys. It was like this big, it was teeny tiny, it
The
was
John
really
Walla book,
practical. Maybe, what was,
Built
you
to
know the
Sell.
title? Yes, that's the one.
Yep.
Built
I
to
read
Sell.
that book
That's it.
a
Nailed
long
it.
time ago. It's a
Well, it's
good
an
one.
old one. It's a good one. It's small. It talks about actually, I think, graphic design and building
Yes.
like a
And
brand
finding
business.
one core offer that you do, and then that makes it scalable.
Yes. So, and he even talked about structuring the business with, that was the main message. And there were other things I took away, that I did start to build the business without me. And then in the last
Mm.
2 years, I could have just disappeared off the planet and it would have been fine. So it gave me the option in a real way to sell. And if I didn't want to, and I built it that way, well, it gave me more work-life balance, which is
Which is
great,
great.
right? But if I decided to sell, then I could.
And so, what was the one core offer that you had? Did you build it that? Did I miss that? Did you build it that way? No.
I built it as, so the one core offer was a little bit different for us because we were focused on photographers, and then we were doing marketing for other people, other
Yeah.
types of industries, and then we were also teaching people. So if you didn't hire us, let us teach you how to do it yourself, because
Yes.
now we charge so much money that not everyone can afford us. So that the narrowing down was less offers, clear services, like what is in each of the options of the
So it's a
packages that
package.
we offered, a package, and that we weren't teaching anyone anything. People were only hiring us. You go to Pepper because you wanted someone to do your marketing for you.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. When you acquired a customer, what was your average customer lifetime value? Like how long? Longevity, not dollar amount necessarily.
I would, oh, so interesting. Because we had people for like 3 years, would
Oh, wow.
probably
That's
be,
really good.
yeah, for about 3 years, sometimes even a little bit longer. Sometimes we had, probably the shortest would be a 3-month trial and it just wasn't the right fit. So that would be the shortest. And then we had people that would leave or come, spend a year with us, and then go and then come back.
Yes. That's a sign that you've done a good job.
Yeah, they just needed a little extra help right now, so they came back.
Okay. So you decided to eventually sell it. What was that
Hmm.
process like?
A wild emotional journey. Honestly, I felt a lot of guilt, and I felt this
Mm.
weird shame feeling because I was so connected to my team, close knit team, great culture. We worked so hard for this culture. All women team. It was a safe place. And women felt safe there to have other passions in their life, but still have this ambition for the work that they do, whether it was part-time or full-time. They were welcome here. So we had mothers that were still very ambitious with the work, but they just couldn't be full-time. And they were amazing at what they do. So this was the place for them. We were so lucky to have them. Or, team members that also had side hustles, and that which was, I think, right. And a lot of people don't like that. They don't want their team members to have side hustles, but it was embraced at Pepper. And so we had these amazing entrepreneurial, creative, highly skilled human beings passionate about the work that we're doing. And it just felt like we created this thing together. And here I am looking to leave it, to
Yeah.
sell it to someone else.
It's such a hard place to be, I can imagine, because part of you, it's like this thing you've built, this baby, this like community and team, like there's so much love in it, but also that you've grown beyond that.
So two parts. So absolutely one, and that is harder to embrace, and it's still hard. I'm getting sweatier even now because it's still hard. It's
We
still
can't
hard to
tell.
embrace.
You look like
Thanks,
you're
man.
glowing. It looks
Oh,
great.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. But it's still even hard to say I've grown on past that, or I've expanded into something different. It's hard to still say that out loud because I still feel some guilt around that, which is something I'm working through. But what I knew for sure is that I was no longer in it like they are in it, like the rest of the team. Like they are in it. They show up every day. They have the ambition for the work that we're doing, for the clients that we are, for the company. And I no longer had that.
Mm,
So was I actually holding the company and therefore the team back? Absolutely, I was. Absolutely. I could have just maintained it and
right.
coasted, which is what I had been doing the last 2 years, if I'm being honest. Doesn't mean I wasn't showing up, doesn't mean that I wasn't working, doesn't mean that I wasn't engaged, but I wasn't growing it in
Mm,
some ways. And like we kept scaling, and we probably could have scaled more, but I didn't want to.
yeah. You're
So
just like,
then,
this works. We don't need
yeah.
to take on anymore.
Or like, it's not even that. It was just I didn't have the energy and the passion to
Right.
give it what it needed. And it was still great. And so it was good enough and everyone was happy. But I knew that I was holding it back. And so that was the
Hmm.
big decision.
So what was going on with you like emotionally in that process? Because
Mm,
I know for me and for a lot of the women that I've spoken to, it's like there is this, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, but like this heaviness or sense of guilt because you're like, it's not for you anymore and your heart wants to move on,
mhm.
but your identity is almost like tied in to starting this business or creating this business.
I feel like it's so layered. This is so layered because I just told you about how much I gave to the business and how focused and tunnel visioned I was with it. And it was my identity. So I gave so much of my person into it. So, of course, I'm going to feel these guilty feelings on the exit versus someone that goes in building a business, still giving it their creativity and their energy and their ideas and their thought. They don't pour themselves into
It's
it.
interesting. Yeah.
So like I didn't have that separation because I was just so passionate and so in love and with building it, and it fueled me that I overgave of myself and my identity into it.
And how does one not pour themselves into a business that they're really passionate about, especially if they're here to make a difference in people's lives and create a movement, which I feel like are the people that I attract.
Yeah, this is may or may not be the right answer for everyone, but this is something that I've been thinking about that I think for me it works and it might be helpful for other people. I think well, you know about branding. Building a brand is so important. That's not you. So, for
Yes.
example, Pepper, we called it Pepper Potts, and that really helped me. So Pepper Potts is the Iron Man character, this,
Oh,
like this, like the gorgeous sidekick that's awesome, and you want to be her BFF, but she gets shit done, like that.
yeah.
So we ended up giving Pepper its own identity, and it's not me.
So
So if you
smart.
have, right? So if you're building a business, even so, this is the solopreneur thing I'll touch on next. But if you're building a business, especially as a team, it's not like just your name, but it's a business name. treat it like it's its own person. So when you are making decisions around it, it's not so personally tied to you and your values and your beliefs. Like, yes, your beliefs and your values and all that, yes, to an extent, but not fully,
Mm-hmm.
because that business isn't you. That's maybe you're part of what you're doing, but it's not actually you. It's
Right.
someone else,
It is. It's a separate entity. We could
a
treat it
separate
like that.
entity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Like
that.
what's best for Pepper Potts. It's not necessarily what's best for Stacey.
Interesting. Yeah, it's like what's best for the business
Hmm.
and what's best for the founder.
Right.
We were
And so
just
I
having a
think,
conversation about this.
yeah. Hmm.
What's best for the business and best for the founder.
Hmm. And then as something to play with, something I'm playing with, and I'd love your thoughts on it. I'd love to know what you think. What happens if, as a solopreneur or yourself, you have a, alter ego? It's still a part of who you are, it's still a side of you that you're expressing, but it's not all of you.
The alter ego thing I think is really, really an important persona to have. A friend of mine, Todd Herman, wrote a book called Alter Ego. Did you ever read that book?
No, okay, tell me again. Todd Herman. I'm
He
writing this down,
wrote a book
friends.
called Alter Ego. He's like a high performance coach, and he helps like a lot of athletes and stuff. I used to live around the corner from him in New York City,
Mm.
and we were in a business group together, and I know him from speaking and a bunch of different things. And eventually he bought a necklace for his wife Valerie. So, but when he wrote this book, and I can't believe I didn't have him on my podcast back then. I don't think I did. I can't remember. Maybe I did.
Mm.
It would have been like episode 200 or something like that, in the 200s. I remember like how that book was very successful because he talks about how these celebrities step into this new identity when they have to
Mm.
do something in their business or in their performance that feels risky or vulnerable or whatever it might be. And I remember this happening when I transitioned out of my first jewelry company and the market crashed and I had to file for bankruptcy and close that business and then start over. I wanted to, I had this vision of making just 150 or $15,000 a month in take home pay. And this is after me like not paying myself for a very long time. So it felt like a lot of money.
Mm.
But I had to step into this new identity. So I created this identity called Attractive Amethyst, which made sense with
Mm.
the fact that that I'm a jewelry designer and all these things. Anyway, one of the things that I've always talked to my students about, it's like, be Sasha Fierce or be whoever you need to
Yes.
be. And if you can almost compartmentalize who you are as a human versus the person who adds value and can
Mm.
sell their product, it's something so different. So in the different parts of your business that you might be avoiding or not stepping fully into you, and this kind of leans into the conversation we were having
Mm.
earlier, which I can't remember
Mm.
right now, but it's like if you can just step into that persona, like doing the hard things, like maybe selling something or adding value to someone, which I think is what sales are, is like showing people how something will transform their lives in one way, shape, or form. That's where it becomes really fun, and you can like create these different personas for different areas of your life. Thanks for that reminder. I think that that's really important. I think especially
Mm.
for people who are just running this on their own, because a lot of times it feels so personal to get rejected or to have to do all these things that feel like they're outside of your skill set. But if you step into that persona, you could just power through it because you're adopting a different energy.
Yes, that feels so less personal, and it can be experimental. That alter ego can, support you in doing that scary
Mhm.
thing. Like, oh, it's like, Stacey back in the day who lived in a garage would never sit here on a podcast with you.
What's interesting. It's
Yeah.
making my mind's going to a dirty area of like people like do you ever see that movie with like who was in it? I think it was Reese Witherspoon and maybe Ben Affleck. I'm probably getting the actors wrong. And the opening scene is like two people flirting with each other at a bar and they're like, let's go home. And they end up being married, but they just like step into
Oh
this world.
yes,
You know what I'm talking
yes,
about? I can't remember who
yes.
the actors
I
are.
this is oh I this is clicking. This is clicking. I cannot even think of the movie, but I super remember that.
And
Yes,
so
that's
like
funny.
people do it just to like spice things up anyway. I'm like, maybe I'll
Yeah.
do that with Jason.
Well, spicy. Yeah. Let us know how it goes.
No, not publicly.
No, no.
Okay. So how am I going to weave this back in here? So you sold your business
Yeah.
and this all kind of happened within the last couple of months. Like, how do you feel now?
Mm. It's interesting because when I should also just also note, I used a broker, and that also really helped me
Mm,
disentangle that guilt feeling, because I was doing it, professionally, with
right.
structure and with people who know what they're doing. It wasn't just me winging it. So
Yes.
that felt like very professional. And then after the sale, I had a lot of people ask me how I was feeling. And honestly, it was bizarre. It was when I got the email that it was done, I was like, F yes. Thank,
Yep.
thank God. And then I crashed. I thought I was going to sleep just for 2 days straight. And I was joking with people, oh, when this sells, I'm going to sleep for 2 days straight. Haha. No, I really
Yeah.
did. I really did. It took almost a month to just get back to like a normal feel. I felt like this athlete that trained for the Olympics. And even though I won, it was still this major come down and adrenaline dump. I was exhausted. I was
Right.
exhausted. And it's
Yeah.
all I really felt. I felt like this weird, yeah, but I don't want to say numbness. It wasn't numb. I think it was just like a disbelief that it actually happened. And then I slowly started to come back to myself and get feeling in my fingers. I started to feel more excited about the future, even though intellectually I knew all these great things are coming and what my life's, the possibilities and what that can look like. I knew that, but I didn't feel it yet
Mm,
until just starting a month after. Strange.
wow. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I've heard this happening a lot. It's almost like you hit this upper limit and then, have you heard about the upper limit that Gay Hendricks talks about? You hit
Mm-hmm.
the upper limit and then all of a sudden like you get sick because you're like, I can't believe this actually happened. And your body, it's like your body's releasing or something.
Oof. Yeah.
Anyway,
Need to
I'm
learn
so
more
excited
about
for
this.
you. And you also told me before that you had like over 100 people who were interested in buying the company, which is insane.
Yes.
That
Which
is
is
like
insane.
remarkable.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, you know what? Okay. So, this will also make me cry because when someone congratulates you that they truly understand what it
Yeah.
takes and what that means, that feels so different than, like even your parents,
Right.
your partner's not entrepreneurial, your friends are like, oh, congratulations, that's awesome. You're like, yay, cool, thanks. It's still great, but it doesn't have that same weight. Probably one of the most impactful congratulations I got was from my lawyer, because I had been with my lawyer from startup
Wow.
through COVID, which was a wild ride. Like I literally thought we were going bankrupt at one point. And then to turn it back around to profit, to get that response to sell
Yeah.
at what we did. My
So
lawyer,
exciting.
he was with me through the whole thing. And his email, I felt so seen, and everything that went into building and all the struggle to then sell.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. Mm.
You should be
Hmm.
really proud of yourself.
Thanks, man.
It's gonna let
Yeah.
this sit in for you a little bit.
Hmm.
That's so
Yeah.
good. So you are definitely in a season of reinvention, to
Oh,
say the
yeah.
least. Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's
what was
good.
going on with you like at the time you saw my ad and you're like, I need to jump in. Let's talk a little bit about this because you were like literally the easiest person to talk to. You're like, you don't even need to tell me on this. Like, I'm in. Like, tell me about your program.
I've said this, and I've said this so many times throughout our program too. I feel like it was built for me. Like, this is like it just spoke directly to me. I met you, and within like 30 seconds, I'm like, oh, yes. I think our chat was like 15 minutes long. And I
I
remember you
know it's
saying, is
supposed to
there
be
anything
30.
else you need from me? I'm like, nope, sign me up.
You're like, wire transfer done. We're good.
Yeah, it's done. Let's go. Let's go. It spoke directly to me. It felt exciting. It didn't feel, I think sometimes when it comes to reinvention and healing and growth, it can feel so heavy. And with you, it felt like full of possibilities and exciting and possible.
Hummingbird energy, like right behind you, baby. Just
Yes.
flying away. There we go.
Yes. Yes, exactly that. That's exactly what it felt like. And it spoke right to my soul, and it was an immediate yes.
You're like the ideal person to come into this world because I'm like, you've built something, you've sold it, you've been successful in different areas. You've also know what it's like to live in a garage with no running water. So you've had all the experiences. And with that being said, like what was your experience in the program? Like I know that
Mm.
it was a yes on the front end, but like what were some of the key takeaways or experiences that you had?
So I think I think this will be interesting because I went in looking for some structure and some community and that support and able to grow into what I wanted to do next. And at the beginning, I really had to keep telling myself, I don't just have to build something. I don't just like roll in here and like build something new and like start going and push again. And that's like what, what I'm used to doing. Your program allowed me, especially at like the first chunk, to just be in the process of being in the process. And that
Right.
is what I really needed. I needed to like slow down.
Mhm.
Am I in alignment? Like what is, what isn't, what do I want to do actually? Not just my, business building brain, which you could ask me to build you 10 businesses right now and I'll give you 10 great ideas.
Yeah.
But what do I really want to do? And then it's interesting as I went through all your different modules and we got to the end and the brand journey, which brings it all together into like this great manifesto and action plan and financials and like practicality, but also with all the dreaming and the vision and the like the soul side, which was incredible to bring it all together. And I completed it and it was going to be on time. And then I realized, and I could see myself doing it, and I realized, I totally just played small here. And I wouldn't have recognized that without your program. I wouldn't have recognized that I just built this whole thing and this plan, and it was a smaller version of what I really want to do because I'm actually afraid of the power. It sounds strange. Like I'm afraid
No,
of, building something bigger. So I get scared and then I'm like, well, I can build this. That's easy. It's going to be fun and impactful and still great. But it's like a big eye opener.
you are here for such big things. I can feel it. And I knew that from the second I met you.
Oh man.
It's not a good podcast unless someone
Oh,
cries.
no.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I think I might almost got 3 here now. But I
Like, I'm
feel like
sweating, I'm crying.
I am. I'm sweating. I'm like, people remember that? Who was that girl? The sweaty one. The sweaty one on the podcast. I'll be the sweaty girl.
So, what would you say to someone who's considering joining the program, or they're in a season of reinvention and they're curious about what's more like, what piece of advice would you give them and would you recommend
Mhm.
it?
Well, obviously, like 10 out of 10. If you're looking at it, that's telling you something already. And I think the question is, why aren't I just signing up? Like, what is it? What are the thoughts going through my head that's stopping me from just booking in the call?
Mhm.
And I think that alone will tell you a lot. And I can see a few people just knowing, like working with entrepreneurs and people and being in that stage too. You're like, is it possible for me?
Mhm.
Is this actually possible for me? I think it's no matter what you're telling yourself, I think deep down that might be the question. And it
Right.
absolutely is. And I think when you realize that you actually do
Mhm.
have the power to reinvent, to evolve, to be who you want to be, that person's already within you, that you just need a little bit of help, like seeing that and bringing it out and embracing that, then I think there's no question it's a yes. Like you should sign up.
We've talked a lot about selling your business, but you're doing some really fun stuff right now. So, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So I took the summer off last year, and I went and got a bunch of certifications and I launched a coaching business. So I've been doing that since last summer. It's been phenomenal. I'm working mostly with ambitious women, and I'm doing sacred money archetypes, so money mindset coaching. So it's like Myers-Briggs, or like a personality test, but all around your money. So I've been really enjoying that. And I'm continuing to do those things. But in the meantime, I'm building something larger in the background thanks to your program.
I
And
can't
even in
wait
the
to hear all
bio,
about it. Yeah.
dude, it's like I'm getting the tingles. It's I put even writer in my bio now to just really own that. So I'm in the process of writing a book thanks to
Yes.
Tracy. I built a method that I'm fleshing out,
So excited.
and there's a couple more big things, but I don't want to talk about them quite yet because they're
Yes.
still marinating, but that's kind of the first part.
I'm so proud of you. I have the chills now, and it just makes me so happy that you have your frameworks, you are getting launched. We're going to be talking about writing a book next month. I'm so excited, and I'm just so proud of you. And I'm like so excited to just call you a friend now. And it's been, the thing about Stacey is she would get on a call with me to coach her, and then it would turn into her coaching me. like halfway
I'm just curious. I'm like, tell me everything. Tell me everything.
like, tell me everything. What did you do?
Yes.
What are all the things?
Yes.
And we have so much to learn from each other, all of us as entrepreneurs. And this is the reason why I love curating groups of women. And we did have one guy in the group. He's amazing, Aaron.
He's amazing.
He'll be on the podcast,
Yes.
super smart, has some of the best social media content that I've seen in a very long time because he's just hilarious. And go give Aaron Wagner some love and go give Stacey some love. It's Hey Stacey Owen on Instagram. Anyway, the thing that I love so much is about curating the group is because when you're in a really great container, it's like the students help you as much, or the people in the container help me as much as I help them. And it's not in the way that you might think. It's just a well-curated group has the ability to lift every single member up. And that's really where it is.
I have to say, that is something that I immediately recognized, and I appreciate it so much, because the way that you teach, the way that you coach and mentor and run the group, it didn't feel like you were talking down to us ever. You have all this wealth of knowledge and experience and this incredible structure that I envy, that I'm really looking forward to applying to my next business. And it always felt like you're a few steps ahead or a lot ahead of us, depending on the things that we're talking about. But it felt like just this free sharing of knowledge and support that didn't feel like you were talking down to us ever, which, if you've ever been in a program, that's like a common experience to have.
Really?
Unfortunately. Yeah, I've definitely experienced this many times.
Yeah.
When people that they just talk about how great they are or all the things that they've achieved, but they're not honest with the challenges or the struggles or the emotions. It feels very, maybe I worded that not very good, but it feels very unattainable then. The goals or the success or the thing that we're trying to achieve, it feels unattainable if it doesn't feel like it's coming from someone relatable.
Right. Yeah. I think that authenticity piece, I can't not be myself. This is the thing. And I overshare most of the time, but I do find that there's value in being able to share the challenges of entrepreneurship, because people are lying to you to say that it's always been perfect. That's why, or that it's always easy. The most successful entrepreneurs are always in a state of up and down and highs and lows. And hopefully the highs outweigh the lows, but the payoff in it is that you get to show up and share your gifts with the world and really help change people's lives. I mean, that's the only reason why I do it. So thank you for reflecting that to me. And I see that so much in you too. It's just this really deep wisdom and a very grounded way that you approach everything in your life. And you will go far, my friend.
Zim, zim.
Thank you for being here, Stacey. Where can everyone find you?
Definitely Instagram. That's where I hang out, at Hey Stacey Owen.
Hey Stacey Owen. Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Thanks,
have all of
Tracy.
Stacey's links in the show notes as well.
Now, if Stacey's story hit right in the feels and you're really loving it, then here's your opportunity to take your next step. So if you're someone who's in transition or wondering what's next, I have two little tasks for you. First, if you haven't done so yet, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you click that little notification bell, and make sure that you check out the little comments and show notes below, because we have all the links to everything that we talked about in the episode. And if you are someone who is on the verge of what's next, or your next chapter, or you're in a state of a business that's working, but it's not working for you anymore, let's chat, because I'd love to support you in the Art of Reinvention program. All right, until next time, this is Tracy Matthews signing off. Ciao for now.